Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the session. Uh, well, as you know, this is the fourth session of the Project Online series. And my name is Vivek Kadam. What I'll do is I'll quickly have a quick round of introduction. I will introduce myself, our speaker. I will talk about our company, I2E Consulting, a little bit, and I will then hand it over to Himanshu. We will also be taking your questions if you have any at the end of the session. So without any delay, let's get started. I'll start with myself. My name is Vivek Kadam. And like I said, I look after the sales at I2E Consulting. I also act as the account manager for most of our customers. And I also look after the partnerships that we have with Microsoft, AWS, Automation Anywhere, and Planisware. We have with us our speaker, Mr. Himanshu Arora. He is the project online specialist and a PPM practice lead at I2E Consulting. And he has implemented several project online projects for our customers who belong to different industries. So that was about us. We'll move on to talk about our company a little bit, I2E Consulting. We are a software services providing company. We have offices in the US and in India. We now have also satellite offices in the UK and Canada as well. We've been in business since 2008, and ever since we have been in the business, we've been working with some really big pharma customers. Our service offerings, they majorly revolve around project and portfolio management, data analytics, and PPM analytics. We do a lot of work in the cloud technology, mostly AWS and Azure. And finally, we do staff augmentation, where we simply provide resources to our customers on site, offshore, even hybrid model where people travel if needed. We have a huge experience in PPM domain, so much so that we had developed our own project management applications, Project Planning Pro and Mind Vector. We've done a lot of work on SharePoint. All this is available on platforms like App Store, Android Store, Mac Store, etc. So yeah, that was about our company at a high level. As I said, we are partners with Microsoft, AWS, and Automation Anywhere, even Planisware. We have huge experience in data visualization, be it Power BI, Tableau, Spotfire, ClickSense, you name the data visualization tool, and we have experience in that. So that was about I2E Consulting. I would now like to hand it over to Himanshu. This is, like I said, the I2E Tech Talk series. This is the fourth session. And yeah, thank you again for joining. Over to you, Himanshu.
Thanks, Vivek, and thanks everyone for joining us today for this session 4. And Vivek, as Vivek mentioned, that it is the 5-part series, and there's another session after this one next week, same time. So in the previous sessions, we have talked about, we have demonstrated the project online features, functionalities, how can you get started quickly, how can you use best practices and create or realistic schedules. And in the last session, we have also demonstrated like how you can manage the large programs. So in today's session, from the schedule level planning, now we are moving ahead and, we'll see how you can do the resource management using project online. So in today's session, we'll see how can you staff your projects, and sometime when you staff your projects, so beforehand you should be aware of whether the resources or the skill set that are required for your project, whether they are available with you or not. If you can check their capacities, whether they are available or they are not available. In case they're not available, then you'll have to do the hiring. And once you have the required resources with you, then you can go ahead and do the resource management planning for your project. You can assign resources to different activities. And sometimes what happens is that, during the execution, the resources get over allocated. Over allocation means, when we have a resource who is assigned more work than his capacity, then the resource become over allocated. It is not good for the project and not for the resource as well. So how can you resolve those over allocations? And in large projects, what we have seen in the large programs, like the resource, I mean, there's some attrition as well. So how you can, replace resources in the project that will also see. With that, let's move to the project online environment. Yeah. So this is our project online environment, and we have seen this earlier as well. This is the landing page. Now, to uh, to begin with the resource management, uh, we need to go to Project Center. Let's take a project here. Let's take this project. This is the page where you can capture the project metadata. And for today's use case, let me go to the schedule page. And this is the project schedule that we have. I mean, we have got some activities that we have planned earlier. We have specified the duration. We have established dependencies between activities. Now we need to assign resources to our activities in the project. So what we need to do, I mean, first of all, when we are working with an enterprise grade system, and this is the major difference between when you work on a standalone tool and when you work with an enterprise grade system, that now your resources are actually shared. I mean, you can actually uh, pick resources and see whether they are available or they are not available. To do that, first of all, what we need to do here, that I'm editing this in the browser itself. The first thing I'm going to do is I'll create a stuffing plan, kind of stuff my project with the resources. For that, I need to go to the project tab here. And I need to click on build team. I cannot create local resources and assign this to activities. I can do that. I mean, system allows you to do that, but it's not a best practice. I mean, even if you're doing it initially on your project, well, that is okay. You can do it for initial estimations, but actually the named resources or the real users or real people, they're going to work on it. So we need to see who's available and who's not available. So on the ribbon, we have got this build team option. I'm clicking on it. When I click on it, on the left pane, I can see all the resources which are available to me. And I can pick the resource and then I can add this to the project team. Okay. For the demo sake, I'm selecting myself here and another resource, and then I can go ahead and do the capacity plan. The capacity planning window, I can see whether the resources are available or not. I mean, we can set the date range, like when we want these resources to work on our project. So the window that we have currently selected is from today's date to 5th of August. And the combined capacity currently it is giving me the week wise view. Let me change it to the days view, the time scale. Yeah. Now we have a day wise view here. So based on the calendar that we have, currently we have 8-hour per day calendar. So the combined capacity of these two resources is 16 hours. For this line that you're seeing here, I mean, for 5 days, I mean, we have the capacity that, we have the resources available with us. I mean, these resources are currently not assigned to any of the activities or in any of the projects. So if these resources are assigned somewhere to some other projects, then we can go ahead and see whether they are, which projects they have been assigned. So for this project, let's say, I mean, this is okay that, the resources are available, they have the required skill sets. So this looked okay to me. And then what we can do, we can go back and now this add button is enabled here. I can click on add and these resources are part of my project team. For that, I need to just go ahead and save and close. I click on save and close here. This build team can be done either through the browser, that is project web application, or we can also do it from the desktop client. So save has completed successfully. Now this is going to close. We are back again in our schedule. So let me see if we have that column, resource column here. Yeah, we do have the resource name column. So there we can do the resource assignment. And if you remember, we only have built, or stopped these two resources in our project. So the drop down, only those two resources will be available. So let us say that for this activity, I need both these resources. And you'll notice that now, because this activity is for 7 days, the combined effort that is required on this activity is over 12 hours. Similarly, we can assign another resource here. And also assign resource here as well. So this is how you can assign resources to your project activities. So once you are done, you can go ahead and click on publish or save it. I mean, we have already talked about the difference between save and publish. So save is like, it is still draft. I mean, the changes will not be visible to the other stakeholders. Once you publish this project, then the changes will be visible to others also. And there's an alert mechanism, which is part of the project online system. So the resources to whom we have assigned, I mean, they'll get an email notification that they've been assigned to these activities on this project, and this much of effort is required from them. So that happens when we click on publish. And this alert mechanism, we can turn it off and we can also turn it on. That again depends. So I'm publishing this project from here. And for rest of the things, I'll open this project in the desktop client and I'll show you the other things in the desktop client. So publish has been, I mean, currently it is being published. So yeah, it is completed. I'm closing this project from here. And we are checking it in. So this check in and check out is a mechanism, which is actually when you are editing a project, then it is checked out to you. It means that nobody else can, make edits to the project. It's just a locking mechanism. Now let me open this project in the desktop client. To do that, I need to click on this icon here. I mean, there are different ways of doing it, but it is the simplest way. I'm clicking this icon here and opening the project in the Microsoft project. It is opening. Yeah. So now we have the same plan. And if you notice that these are the resources that we have assigned to our project. And I mean, currently it is synced with or integrated with the Office 365. So from the resources, you can also see whether they are they are in a meeting or they are available or they are not available, and you can also communicate with them from the from Microsoft project itself. The other thing that you'll notice is that there are two icons here for some resource, which indicates that the resource is over allocated. I mean, on the same time, we have assigned this resource, and currently because of this over allocation, it is being shown as the resource is over allocated. So there are two ways of resolving this over allocation. One is the automatic resolution, like whenever there's an over allocation in your project, so automatically the project plan will schedule the other activities to a different date so that your resources are not over allocated. I mean, this is a good way of, I mean, you'll not have to do a lot to resolve the over allocation. The system will do it on your own, on its own. But the challenge is that you'll lose control over your project. Possibly what we can do is the resource is not over allocated and we resource over allocated and not available, we can look for another resource who's available without changing the dates of the activity. So this is the best practice that you should not resolve the overall allocations automatically. Instead of that, you can uh, do it the manual way. Either you can change the date so that the resource will not be over allocated anymore, or you can assign a different resource to the activity, right? So let me show you like the over allocation settings here. I mean, when we resolve over allocation in the Microsoft terms, project management term, we call it leveling resources. So when I click on leveling options, you can see that automatic resource allocation is turned off. I mean, it is manual. We can set it to automatic also. When I set it to automatic and click on level all resources, then you'll see that what will happen. I mean, the blue highlights that indicates that it has changed the dates of the activity onto the dates where the resource is available. But again, you'll notice that the dates have been changed. Sometimes it is not the case, and you do not want the activities to be scheduled on a different date. So I'm undoing this step, and if I'll go back, but the automatic way, let me click on manual here, and if I can see that the task has over allocated, and right click for options. We right click here, and then we can fix this in the task inspector. Then you'll notice that resource overloaded due to work or other task. And which resource is coming? This is coming for Himanshu, right? So what we can do, I mean, we can change there are different options here, like move the task to resource next available time, or view allocated resources in team planner. There's another view that we have, or view engagement context task usage fee. So these are the different options that you have. The other thing that you can do, I mean, this will also cover the next, next the topic that we have, like replacing resources. We can also replace resources also. To replace resources, what we need to do, we have to again go to resource tab here on the top. The same steps we have to follow. I mean, we'll have to add one more resource in my onto this project. I'll click on add resources, build team from enterprise. So we are picking resources from the resource pool. So I'm clicking build team from enterprise. This will open this window. Again, we have two windows here. On the left hand side, you can see these are the resources. And on the right hand side, these are the resources which are already available to you in your project. So I mean, we have different options here. I mean, we can add filters here. Okay, show me resources with attachments, or show me more allocated resources, or show me resources where work complete is less than 50% or 100%. Right? There are different resources. Show me only the work resources. So this is what we can do. I mean, we can apply different filters, and there's an option to add custom filters as well. So from on the left hand side, let me pick this resource, add it to the project team, and click OK. So currently, what we have done, I mean, we have added another resource to our project, but the resource is currently not assigned to any of the activity. So there are different ways of assigning resources to the activities. What we can do, we can from the drop down the resources available, we can assign this resource and remove this one. The other way that we can do is when we double click on any activity here, then we have got this task information window, and we have got different tabs here like general tab, sector, resources, advanced, notes, and custom fields. Let me click on this resources tab, and there you can also assign the resource, right? And or remove the resource, whatever you want to do. And the other way is there's a shortcut like there's a resource assignment dialog box. For that, you need to press Alt F10 on your keyboard. Yes, again. Alt F10, and then you can assign this resource and and remove this one. And the other way, what you can do is you can replace this resource as well from this activity. To do that, and this assign resource dialog box, I mean, you can use it to assign resources for different activities. You just need to click on the activity and see which all resources are assigned to that activity. Right? And let me replace this resource with Kalyan J. So click on replace it with Kalyan J. Click OK. Let me close this, and then you will notice that the overall location has gone from this activity. I mean, for this activity also we have over allocation, so we can also resolve by the same way, by replacing this resource or changing the dates of this activity. So this is how you can resolve over allocation. Then you will have a plan which is realistic. And the other thing, I mean, I want to also touch upon is here is sometimes you do not want the resources to be 100% allocated to a project. Sometimes like you want the resource to work on only like 50%, 25% on a particular activity or on a particular project. So you can also do that. For example, let's say for this iteration 1 activity, I want Kalyanji to work only 25%. So you can do that easily by selecting Kalyanji here, right? Just double clicking, and instead of 1 FT, you can put 0.25 FT. Then click OK. Okay, so what system has done, I mean, it has changed the duration. So there's a scheduling engine that works behind the scenes. What it has done, it has kept the work same and change the duration and change it to 8 weeks. What you can do in this help indicator, you can choose that change the amount of work but keep the duration same. When I do this, what will happen? The duration will remain same, 2 weeks, but the amount of work has been changed. So to see how much work has been allocated to this activity, you can select the work column, and you can see that there's 20 hours of effort which is required, but it is required in this 2 weeks. To see how much it's been assigned on a daily basis, so we have another view here, which is called task usage view. When I click on this task usage view, you can see that under each activity, you can see the resource assignments. And for iteration 1, if I'll go to scroll to task to see that in this right pane, you can see that the resource has been, because it is an 8-hour calendar. So if we have assigned a resource 25%, it means that only 2 hours are required on a daily basis from this resource. So for 2 weeks, starting from the start of the activity, 2 hours have been allocated on each day. I mean, again, it depends on your requirement, how granular planning you want to do. If you want to do it on a daily basis, then you can do. If you want to have them distributed equally, then you can assign it this way. Or like for the granular planning, I mean, let's say for this day, particularly for 28th of 2022, we want this resource to work for 4 hours. So I can go ahead and put 4 hours here, right? Then the overall work has been changed and the same has been rolled up at the project level. So this is how you can, build team for your project. And the same way you can do it for all the activities. You can look for the right skill sets from the enterprise resource pool, and then you can go ahead and do the resource assignments or to those activities. It is not only that you can only assign human resources or named resources. So generally, I mean, in project management terms, we have got 4 M's, like man, machine, money, and material. We can have all these resources created in your enterprise resource pool, and we can allocate these resources to different activities in our project plan. In software development projects, mostly it is the people who work on activities they are the resources. But in construction project or some other project, there are equipments also. There are, there's a material as well. Like for construction project, we need sandbags, we need equipment such as JCB machines and cranes, all these things, right? So Microsoft Project Online has the provision where you can create all these kind of resources, man, material, machine, money. So all these kind of resources that you can create, you can also allocate fixed cost to your projects. And not only you're planning from the schedule standpoint, you're also planning from the resources standpoint, like all resources you need for your project. And once you're done, you can go ahead and start the execution. So this is how you can do the resource planning and allocate them to your projects. You can replace them whenever required or as per your project needs. So that was it from our side for today's session. I mean, if you have any questions, then please let us know. I mean, we'll be glad to answer them.
Right. Thank you so much, Himanshu, for this session. We'll wait for a few questions. So to all the attendees, if you have any questions, please go ahead and post them in the Q&A box. You can post the questions in the Q&A box, or you can also ask them in the chat box, and we'll be more than happy to answer them. Remember, this is a series, like I said in the beginning. It's called I2E Tech Talk. So this is the 4th session, and we have a couple of sessions, and we do this every Thursday, same time. So I'm sure most of you have registered for the whole series. So we look forward to see you all in the next session. Don't forget to please subscribe to our newsletters. And for any queries related to Project Online, anything, you can always reach out to us. You can simply send an email on sales@i2econsulting.com. Right. We will wait for a couple of minutes. If you have any questions, please go ahead and post them in the Q&A box. I would also like to remind you that this is a recorded session. I mean, this session is being recorded, and the recording will be shared with all the attendees, hopefully by tomorrow. Okay. So Himanshu, I don't see any questions here. So once again, thank you so much for this presentation, Himanshu. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending this. And we hope to see you in the next session. Till then, take care and have a great
Thank you.
day. Have a great day, great evening, wherever you are. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Himanshu. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.